Apparently, Kevin Hunter is prepared to unleash more devastation in Wendy's life. Since this man moves to threatening activity sources, uncover that he intends to hurt his ex, to stash her disaster protection, and pay part of his developing plunge. And realizing that Wendy isn't completely recuperated at this point, he accepts this moment is the best opportunity to act since she is diverted by her new tasks and has no chance to focus on his plans. Greetings, everybody, and welcome back to Celeb Live channel. I keep my eyes on the most shocking occasions in the stage and continuously present to you the most sizzling updates so Kevin Hunter can be authoritatively delegated the most risky individual of the year. Word is on the road that he has no different thoughts of how to blackmail additional money from his ex Wendy Williams and needs to pursue her life coverage, realizing that Wendy's condition is as yet delicate and backslide is as yet conceivable. And since Wendy is in the middle of chipping away at new projects, Kevin accepts that he can play his terrible plan out without anybody seeing grade. If you have any desire to learn more, try to continue through to the end of this video. Until the end, Kevin Hunter previously demonstrated how frantic he is for cash since his support from Wendy Williams was ended. He didn't consider keeping a solitary dime for later and just covered himself above and ears in the red with the dispossession coming and his lawyers prescribing him to quit pursuing the provision checks. He recollected about the main conceivable source to get fast money, and that is Wendy Williams' life coverage sources. Uncover that Kevin is prepared for the fight to come and subtly desires to play out his little plan of hurting Wendy without anybody thinking him. Clearly, Wendy's cash doesn't allow this man to rest calmly around evening time. And since he lost all desire to get a couple of additional bucks from his ex, any legitimate way he can move above and beyond on the off chance that why me it's been some time since we heard about the insurance cash. And assuming you disregarded this piece of Kevin and Wendy's repayment understanding, let me momentarily remind you, as per the New Jersey court record, that by the media Williams is currently being compelled to keep a $1 million contract of life coverage on her life to get spouse's receipt of the net after-charge severance installments. Williams is additionally being compelled to make a life coverage contract on herself. So for the situation that she abruptly passes on, and the show needs to stop, Hunter can and keep getting compensated, so this aggregate isn't so enormous as the need might arise yet. It's actually better compared to he had gotten for the last year from Wendy. This life coverage was made to get Kevin's provision checks, and since he doesn't get them Illinois checks, and since he doesn't get them any longer, I surmise he accepts that he is qualified for that million. It just demonstrates how terrible is Kevin now monetarily, and how direly he wants cash to cover his bills. It's unfathomable to think what this man is able to do, and how genuinely he might feel about Wendy, as I would see it, as opposed to undermining her. He ought to ask the sovereign of top for pardoning. Yet since Wendy is too bustling dealing with her venture, and couldn't care less about his reality any longer, he needs to get payback for public embarrassment, since everybody sees him as a jokester, as Wendy had before admitted in her meeting. She was thinking about separate from in the second year of their marriage, yet was remaining with Kevin, and in any event, tolerating his disloyalty in light of their child. Yet the chance to at last leave Kevin with nothing introduced itself, just numerous many years after the fact. And at that point, Wendy was injured both genuinely and truly by Kevin's consistent tricking, which he didn't actually stow away from her. As Wendy said, I went into the conveyance room realizing to me I'm arranging my separation. Kevin was a sequential cheek. He cheated. When I dated him, he cheated. When I wedded him, well, I don't have the foggiest idea how he rested around evening time, returning to his family house subsequent to visiting his paramour. Yet it seems like with years, Kevin lost all disgrace and quit being wary at all. He was fundamentally carrying on with the existence of a mooch, while his significant other was dealing with television. He was buckling down, wasting her millions on another lady. So when he was startlingly served the legal documents, He didn't have anything in that frame of mind to support himself, and the sumptuous way of life he had with Wendy evidently, his own business is a disappointment. And his escort, Serena, doesn't actually help by selling her hotcake blend for $10 for each bundle. These two truly felt that there would be a line of individuals prepared to work with them, yet nobody needs to fund the bloodsuckers that destroyed Wendy Williams' well-being, yet know their shared pay isn't sufficient to earn enough to get by, as Kevin said in his video, attempting to yank tears from the public. The way that I can't support my life and cover my bills altogether is outrageous eminent to me. I can't take care of my bills and support my everyday day residing greatly as a whole, have some familiarity with his everyday cost fashioner garments extravagant cafe sports vehicles, while being hitched to Wendy and washing in the beams of her prosperity. He became accustomed to residing like a lord, such a lot of that he was unable to let this way of life. Though even after the separation, yet obviously, his own unobtrusive pay was nothing contrasted with Wendy's month-to-month checks. Since he began to caution everybody about his difficulties, just after the principal check didn't come, I surmise that if for certain individuals such circumstances function as a reminder, Kevin didn't actually think of at long last transforming into a man in the supplier for his new family. He was really willing to continue his pamper way of life with Serena with Wendy's cash, yet since every one of his endeavors fizzled. And surprisingly, the adjudicator told him no, Kevin has the main choice left, which is to demolish Wendy. And I mean it in a real sense. Fans are maddened by his deficient way of behaving and don't see the reason why everybody stays impartial about what's happening and permits Kevin to go around with his aggressive statements. One of my supporters, what's so profound that he composed What in Blazes is Wendy legal counselors, and the police trusting that something will happen to Wendy. Every one of their aggressive statements are made public. A no-contact request ought to be taken out, and certain individuals accept that Kevin's messages won't bring about anything since he doesn't have similar influence and impacts. When he is take a gander at what this individual remarked under one of my recordings, he needs more cash. To obliterate her, she ought to record each call and danger he makes to her. Well, I believe it's smarter to totally segregate Kevin from Wendy and her delegates, since, supposing that he has a remark to his ex, I surmise he would be advised to do it in court before an appointed authority, since him sneaking around with his threatening messages is genuinely perilous, realizing that he used to mishandle and take advantage of Wendy in the past. Since he never cherished her, I dare say that he might cross every one of the lines to get to her millions. I mean, we as a whole recollect how he violated her previously. And in spite of the fact that he attempted to play the defensive and cherishing spouse, such a lot of he never truly thought often about her prosperity. Both close to home and actual individuals don't end a sound marriage by winding up in recovery, right? And this is precisely exact thing happened to Wendy after the separation, such a long time of his cheating and spending her cash on his escort.